going on, guys? Mac here, bringing you another wonderful, fantastical video. I hope that sun does not come through this whole entire video because I'm on my way to work and it's just that peak time where the sun is at my back, but it may be coming through the window. Let's see. Yeah, I think I can roll with it. But yeah, I'm here bringing you part 2 of life after high school, the do's and don'ts. And part 1 we covered, just going straight into the workforce, straight into labor jobs, etc., etc. And that one was probably going to be the slowest growth, the slowest, but you will be growing right then and there, right out of high school, with income, building up retirement and stuff like that. Now, part 2 is the other side. It is another path that you can take in life. This is going to be the path that a lot of kids are going to probably be pushed towards growing up. I know I was being born in the 90s, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the 2000 kids are going to hear it and stuff. Is you got to go to college if you want to make a lot of money. You got to go to college. Okay? College is all you'll hear about. Oh, you want to go to this school. Oh, you got to go down this school path. If you're going to go to school, go for this, because they make a lot of money, etc., etc., etc. And don't get me wrong, I'm a college graduate. I have 2 degrees so far, working on my master's degree. So I do believe in higher education. However, there is a realization that comes with this education. And I hate to say it to everybody, no matter where you graduate, no matter what fucking fancy school you graduate from, it's still a piece of paper at the end. Okay? And honestly, there's a lot of people that probably have that same kind of piece of paper. A college degree in the past may have equaled more income. However, it does not equal more income now. It equals more doors open, but that doesn't mean it means more income. Okay? For instance, if you want to be a teacher or some sort, and you go through your 4 years of school or however long, I really don't know too much about the teachers, and you go to a fancy school, you're paying all this money to make basically what the laborer is going to make in the same amount of time. But guess what? That laborer doesn't incur all the student debt that comes with it. Now, here's the do's when you come. Now, let's get into the do's when you come through college, okay? When you first, first off, when you start talking to colleges, start looking at colleges and stuff, and actually have a chance to talk to counselors and stuff, they are going to parade you with a numerous, this is what you got to do, this is exactly how you do it, this is, you want to graduate, this is exactly what the field you want to go into and stuff. No, don't, okay? Because I can't tell you how many people I know personally, let's say that back in high school, they wanted to get their nursing degree. They got their nursing degree. And they absolutely hate being a nurse, but guess what? They can't go anywhere else because they spent all this time, all this money into a nursing degree or getting their nursing certifications and stuff, that it would not be beneficial financially to move on to something else, all right? Or to incur more debt for something else that may not even make up the money that they spent. That's the cold hard reality. Most of the time, you're not going to make up the money that you spent in college, depending. All right, so first rule of the do's, I say, is when you're going through it and stuff, just do the general education courses first, all right? What I mean by this is your basic maths, your basic readings, your social studies, etc., etc., because you do not know what you want to do as an 18-year-old graduating out of high school, all right? You do not know if you're going to go in your path of a veterinarian. You don't know if you're going to go to your path of some other weird path, etc., etc., all right? You do not know where you're going to go in life, all right? So don't just automatically say, oh, I want to go start this program. How do I start this program? All of it's still going to begin at the core classes, which is your readings, your maths, your social studies and stuff. So yes, get ready. You're going to have to be doing math, basic, college algebra math. You're going to be doing college algebra, papers, your first courses. It is what it is. Get used to it. As a college student, you better get used to writing papers. It's going to happen. All right? So the first dues, just start out with your general education. You don't know what you're going to want to do. For instance, I'll give you my inspiration, how it all started with me. First, I thought I was going to be a veterinarian. I thought I was going to graduate, become a herpetologist, which is the study of reptiles and amphibians. Realized that is a lot of work, and I'm super lazy. I'm not the most academically gifted, I'm not going to lie. My family has never been really academically gifted, but we're stubborn as hell, so that's the only reason why I got through it. So, after that, I realized, well, I might as well just go into the vet tech, which is basically like I know some people are gonna fucking freak if I say it like this, but I'm gonna say it, which are basically the nurses of vets and stuff. Which, hey, it's still a noble profession, I think. You know, you take care of an animal whose whole life is a family, rather than the animals being just part of their life. That's something to take forward. Then I realized you need to get, it's a very competitive type field, and you got to get so many passing grades, you got to write a paper, all this other stuff, which I don't have a problem with writing paper. It's more along the lines of, like I said, I'm not the most academically gifted, so my GPA wasn't the highest before entering this program, so I was like, nah, not going to do that. So I decided to go into a different course, which is biotechnology. Loved it. I'm a science person. I'm a man of science. I love science, all right? So I started doing biotechnology. Well, getting close to my graduation, I have to do these elective type courses, and I decided, you know what, might as well do 2 electives and also get my environmental technician certification, that type of deal. Might as well, if it's free, it goes up for full-time on the VA benefits, might as well, right? So I signed up for these 2 courses, which is wastewater and water introduction. And halfway through the wastewater course, my professor, he asked me, he's like, hey, I can get you a job. You can go ahead, and while you're still working in school, it can count as your internship. You go ahead and get your Class 3 Georgia wastewater license before you even graduate. You go ahead and start working on your 2s, etc., etc. Trying to get somebody into the field, and me and another guy into the field. And we both look at each other. We're maybe like 3 months away from graduation. We look at each other. There ain't no way in hell we're scraping shit off a bar screen. Not when we're gonna get a fancy degree, a fancy biotech degree, and work in a lab, making buku's amount of money. Well, reality hits, ladies and gents. Reality is going to hit you as soon as you graduate too. I was working part-time, making $9 an hour, 45 minutes away from my home, for next to nothing, for barely the gas money to put into my truck, which in a college town and stuff, that's pretty much how it's going to be, even in small private labs and stuff, because you have a plethora of interns that can come through, you have a plethora of other people that can come through and basically, I wouldn't say be free labor, but much cheaper labor than this part-time guy, somebody a company doesn't have to pay for benefits and all this other stuff. So, hey, it is what it is. Can't throw a fit. I'm all right with it. So I'm sitting there one day about to get married, and I decided to call up my local municipality, because hell, I remember these wastewater and water introduction courses. I was like, I remember it was actually halfway interesting. I remember touring some facilities, and I was like, this is nothing like how I thought it was going to be. So I call up my local municipality. It's like, hey, do you have any water operator jobs available? I have a degree. If you say a degree to a municipality and you tell them it's like a biotech degree, they're chomping over the bits for you, because trust me. And they're like, no, but we got a position in the wastewater plant. Now, that's where I had to make that decision. As somebody who needs to provide for a family. Yeah, I said, all right, I'll come in. So I went in and interviewed and got a job, and contacted my professor who was going to hire me, and I was like, hey, I need all the coursework for the wastewater intro course, because I'm going to be sitting on a test here pretty soon. And he's like, all right, well, when you get tired of working in the municipality, come work with me. And two years later, a few certifications later, and state licensing later. I come work for them, and now I'm in a position to where I never thought I was going to be, and it's nowhere near what I thought my original career path was going to be. All right, now let me tell you. Now let's get back on point. So when you graduate, you don't know where you're going to end up when you turn 26. All right, so because let's say you graduate when you're 22, when you turn 26, you may be in a completely different place than what you thought you were going to be when you graduated at 22, 23, whatever. And that's just how it is. All right, so the first rule of college, of the college lifestyle, the first do is only take general education course. The don't for that is don't immediately sign up for what you think you're going to do when you're 30, 35, okay? Because life is going to change a lot between then and that. All right, the second do, and this is the one that I'd love to advocate for people and stuff. The second do is pick the right school. Pick the right school. All right, not the school your friend is going to, because let me tell you, your high school friends they're gonna fade. I don't even know anybody. The only person I talk to from my high school days is my wife. Really? So pick the right school. Do not go to a fancy school just because your boys or your girls are heading over there, because they're going to be paying all this bukus amount of money, but guess what? They get that college experience. Don't pay for the college experience. All right, it's not worth it. Okay, it's not worth the long run for you coming out as a 22-year-old with almost $120,000 worth of student debt. That's a house right there. That is a bloody house. All right, and this will bring on to the third do's and don'ts of it. Do pay for a college you can afford. Don't take out a student loan. For the love of God, don't take out a student loan. Pay out of pocket or through grants or through scholarships, some other ways of pay for your school. But don't take out a student loan, okay? You as an 18-year-old do not realize the burden that's going to carry on throughout the rest of your life for, honestly, as I said before, a piece of bloody paper. Okay? So don't pay all this aspirations money. What I would do if I was you, go through your first core classes through a tech school. Heck, there's plenty of tech schools around. There's plenty of colleges around, to be honest with you. You just got to figure out which one's the best fit for you, your lifestyle, your personality, and stuff like that. Not because your best friend or your family member went to it or anything like that, but go through it and pick out the best college. I'd suggest a tech school first. I know that's going to be to a lot of people, but go through a tech school first. You do not have to go to a fancy university. Try to stay in state too, because out of state tuition's a bitch. All right, just because you want to get away from your parents doesn't mean you should be paying out-of-state tuition. There's a different way of going away from your parents, and I'll tell you that in part 3. All right? If you really want to drive away from your parents, I'll tell you that in part 3, and I'll tell you how to pay for school in part 3. In part 3 of this series, because part 3 is a wonderful path that I've taken as well. So I've taken a lot of these paths. I've taken all 3 of these paths. All right. So take it from me. I have taken all 3 of these paths. I've worked as a laborer right out of high school. I went through college, and I went through the third path, all right? So, let me tell you, you have to do your research on your schools. Do your research and figure out, which one costs more. Why does this cost more compared to the other one? Then you'll realize it's just the same courses. It's the same thing. Why am I going to pay an extra $4,000 for this just because it's at this school when I could be paying this much for the same type of education that's still going to transfer over to a major school, the same as a major school. All right, so pay for college out of pocket through grants, scholarships, all this other stuff. And if you can't take a full course load, because this is another thing your counselors are going to push for, is full course, full schedule. You got to get a full-time schedule. Yes, the full-time schedule is meant to keep you on path to graduate within 8 years. But it is for an 18-year-old, freshly out of high school, who's been so used to, being groomed and everything like that, to be thrown into the deep end of, well, you didn't do so well on this test, there's no extra credit, so good luck on your next one. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. That's pretty much how it goes sometimes. Alright? So please, just colleges. I'm an advocate for colleges. I believe everybody should go through. I believe everybody should have a chance to go through college. I believe wholeheartedly through a higher education. I believe it. However, I just believe it can be done right and done carefully. Now, recently there's been on the news and stuff about wanting to do free education and stuff like that. I don't believe that should be a case, honestly. I do not believe that should be a case. Why? Because if you offer things like that for free, this type of higher education for free, it demeans the value of the college degree. It's not like the college degree is already demeaned so fucking low already that it's pretty much worthless and is best used as a decorative piece on your wall. But it's still worth a little bit of something. Now you start making it free for everybody, then it's not going to be worth much to anybody. Okay? So there are ways to do it. There are correct ways to do it, and then there's also wrong ways to do it. Okay? So the correct ways I say of doing it is, one, pick the school that's best suited for you. You do not have to go to a fancy university. You do not have to go to out of state to get away from your parents. You do not have to go to a school because your boys are going to it or your girls are going to it, right? Two, don't take out student loans. Okay? If it means you have to take one course a semester and it takes you much longer to graduate, so fucking be it. Because at the end of it, when you go to your 10-year reunion and your friends are like, oh man, why didn't you graduate with us? Well, I don't have $80,000 for the student loans. How much do you have? They'll be like, that sort of deal. Alright? So, that's good. And three, and this one is the coup de cause of it and stuff, is, I have no idea what the third one was. What was the third one? I'm sorry, I got off all on this tangent and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and three is pick what you think you might, pick your program, what you think you might be doing when you're 35 or 40. Okay, so try, because you're gonna have to start visualizing yourself that far into the future. As an 18-year-old, you know how difficult that bloody was? As an 18-year-old, I was not visualizing myself working in a sewer plant. My wife was not visualizing herself being a paramedic. Alright? As an 18-year-old, you need to actually try visualizing yourself what you will be doing when you're 40 years old. And that is probably the most difficult fucking part of this whole entire thing, because you don't know. You really don't know what your interests are in life. My stepfather, he's a big burly man. I'm talking about 6'7". I'm talking about good old country boy. All right. When you look at him, I automatically assume a lumberjack. All right. Or some sort of construction, some sort of field like that. This guy works in a hospital as a radiologist. Now, if I ever was in a delirious state and I woke up to see a man with a beard that goes all the way down to his chest and he's big enough to, pick me up with one arm, I would think I'm in an insane asylum. But he does not look the part as a radiologist, and I can guarantee you he did not visualize himself working in a hospital at all when he was graduating high school. I guarantee you he did not visualize it. I guarantee you my mother did not visualize working for a school system when she got her GED. So, and that's another thing. That's another thing I want to point out. This is just a little tidbit on stuff like that. It's never too late to go for your higher education. It is never too late. If you do it right, you do it without putting a financial strain on you or the ones you love, you can get a higher education. Case in point, my mother is one of the biggest inspirations in my life when it comes to pursuing higher education. You know why? She dropped out her first day of high school. She was 15 years old. She dropped out of her first day of high school. Why? Because she was pregnant with moi. Alright? Fast forward until I'm about 19, about to start college and freshly out of the military in the reserve status and stuff. Flash forward all the way through. She starts working on her GED. I remember helping her with some of her math homework on her GED. Alright? But guess what? She didn't just stop there. She went along through college and got a degree in culinary arts. All paid for, all fucking free. So, people say that it's too late for you to do it. People say it's too late. It's never too late. My mother is a case in point of that. Alright? My wife's a case in point of that. She's still going through different courses and stuff like that. Still trying to figure out what she necessarily wants to do in life and stuff. And I will support her in every single way. Alright? Because, heck, I may not even be in the field I am 10 years from now. I may be doing something completely different. But that's okay. As long as I keep growing, keep going forward. That's the key with your education. You have to keep going. It does not stop. Alright? It will never stop. If the moment you stop is the moment you stagnate, become sour and bitter. Alright? Yes, it takes work. Yes, it's going to drive you insane sometimes. Yes, you're going to be like, why am I doing this? I have 3 kids. I don't have 3 kids. My mother had 4 kids. So I have a kid. This kid is watching Coco Melon on the YouTubes and stuff, and here I am typing up a piece of paper while she's singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and I'm missing out on her. Yes, you're going to be missing some things and stuff. But in the long run, that drive and determination will pass on to that type of future generations. And that's what you really want, is to pass on that drive and determination. Now, I'm somewhat determined. My wife is very determined to keep going forward, to keep moving forward. So, our daughter seeing this, as she grows up, she's going to want to do better than us. And as a parent, you want your children to do better than you. Alright? Now, as a high schooler, you're probably like, man, this guy's just off on this tangent. It has nothing to do with me. I was just wanting to know what the do's and don'ts of colleges is, of this part 2 video is. Alright, so let's get back on track. Let's get this buttoned up. Let's get this finished up. So, all right, first do. All right, the first do is Sorry, my mind just went blank there because I went off on this weird tangent. I'm so sorry, guys. I could not help it because it is just something that's just something that I've been dealing with and talking about with other people and stuff, and I just love this drives my passion. I want to be able to help people on my free time, on my downtime, because especially younger people, because I wouldn't say that I'm much older, but I have made those mistakes. I've made certain mistakes. My wife's made certain mistakes that I wish that 10 years ago I knew about before I got into it. Okay? And that's what I want to share. I want to share these experiences, especially with you younger folks, because let's be honest, mom and dad are great. Mom and dad are great. They've taught you a lot of life lessons. You've learned a lot from them. Some good things, some bad things. Don't know about your upbringing, not going to bring that up into this. But you've learned some things from your parents. However, you've got to learn from other people outside. You got to look from a different perspective. Okay? Because if you want to grow, you have to learn from a different perspective. So the first do of your wonderful college career is start the general education or general program. Why? Because that's where a majority of your college courses, general core classes are going to be and such, and that's great. Those are going to be for every program, no matter what fucking program you do. If you're want to go for a doctorate or that sort of thing, you're still going to start out on these courses. So start out on those courses. Don't immediately pick your program then, okay? That's the don't on that. Don't immediately pick what you think you're going to be doing as an 18-year-old when you're 35, 40, all right? Because you may not know, all right? Second one, pick the right school, all right? Don't go to the school because of the name alone, all right? I'm sorry to say that because of what the federal government did with federally insured student loans and all this other stuff, it is taking the demeaning of it is taking the value of the college degree away from everybody. And I mean everybody. I mean, even Ivy League, in my opinion. It is taking away the value of the college degree away from everybody, and personally has jacked up prices for everybody to become almost on an equal playing field. And the best bet is to always go for, a tech school first and then transfer over. All right. So pick your school. All right. Pick a school within your price range. Don't go to a school because of the name and because your boys and girls are going there, your boy or girlfriends are going there, or because it's a family type tradition and stuff. All right. I understand family traditions and stuff is a very big thing, but you're you. Remember that. You are you. You decide your own future. All right? You're at the point where you decide your own fate. So decide it for you. All right? Three. All right? The third one is you don't have to take a full-time schedule. You do not have to take a full-time schedule. You don't have to. All right? You can take a part-time schedule. So you could maybe even work or, that sort of thing. So the don't on that is you don't have to take a full-time schedule. You can take a part-time, all right? That one's interchangeable. If you can do a full-time schedule and it's free and stuff, do it. But if you can't do it, don't worry about it. Take 1 or 2 courses a semester versus 6 or 7. Lessen that burden on that burden on you while you work, so that way you can pay for school out of pocket without taking out a federal loan. And this is the final one. Do pay for school out of pocket. Get a part-time job, get the student internship program, whatever. Get some other things going on, scholarships and grants and stuff like that. Apply for them, go for them, save up your money, and still live with your parents, okay? You don't have to live in the fucking dorm, all right? Trust me, you will be leaving your parents soon enough. Try saving yourself a little bit of money so that way when you do leave your parents, you don't have to worry about that much financial strain when you're trying to pick out a new apartment or house or blah, blah, blah. All right? So, but don't take out a student loan. Do not take out any loans for college. As an 18-year-old, right now, you don't see the impact of what that's going to carry on for you. What that is going to do to you financially later down the road. What type of strain that is going to put on your family. Because you could come out, let's say $20,000 is the typical, let's say $20,000 is for 2 semesters for a full-time student at a school. I'm just saying $20,000. I know some might be more, some might be less. I'm just going to say $20,000. And you stick with your program all the way through. You don't make any changes to your program. You pass all your classes. You don't make any changes to your program. You take exactly 4 fucking years to graduate. All right? By skin of the teeth, it takes 4 years for you to graduate without making any changes, without any doubt or anything like that. Guess what you're doing when you come, and all what the financial advisor said, 60 days right after you graduate, then you can start paying back your student loan. 60 days, you're like, 60 days, I can pay back this, and then when you finally get that first fucking bill, and you look at your total amount due, over $60,000. You already owe over $60,000. Guess what? You're probably working a job. You might be making $40,000. But guess what? You also need a vehicle. But guess what? You also are wanting a house or an apartment. And guess what? Also you're needing is phone payments. Guess what? You're also having to pay for all this other stuff. How in the hell are you going to pay those student loans? It's going to be stressful is what it's going to be. So those are just some simple rules, some simple things and stuff. And let me tell you, do it. If you want to go through college, want to do it. Think about it. Give it some long, hard thoughts. And then do your research on it, okay? Don't just immediately jump on the first bandwagon thing you see, alright? Do your research on it. Do it smart, do it carefully, because your peers, your high school peers, let me tell you, if they did go to a fancy college, whatever, if they did go to a fancy college or whatever, and, okay, just a little bit of experience, this is from a little bit of an experience standpoint, and I can tell you this firsthand. There's a guy who graduates from I'm not going to say the college, from a good college. I would say it's alright college. And he graduated with like a photojournalism degree or something like that, you know. But guess what? He's the talk of the town because he went to this school. Okay, I was like, okay, well, that's cool. Well, what is he doing? He's working for a local newspaper company. I'm not saying that somebody who doesn't need a college, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. He's doing what he's doing what he's always wanted to do, blah, 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 don't really care. But I can guarantee you, I'm making a lot more than he is. And guess what? In my career field, I don't need a college degree. My wife is probably making buku's amount more than he is, and she didn't really need a college degree either. So there's an example of how the value of a college degree in the right program could be and stuff, because that's the type of thinking you're going to have to go for, because what are you going to go to school for? Now, obviously, a lot of medical fields and stuff is going to provide a lot more money for obvious reasons. You're dealing with human damn life. However, look at how difficult it is to get into it, alright? I wasn't going to get into it because I hate people. I'd rather be as far away from people as I possibly can. But medical people do make a lot of money, and that's what entices a lot of people to try going into the medical field, just because they can make all this money, they can make a lot of money. But the schooling and training you need for it is astronomically difficult, because it gets more and more competitive, because more and more people want to get into it. So that's just the type of thinking you have to do, the type of realization you have to come to in your own personal thing. I know a lot of you guys are coming up on your graduations and stuff like that, and a lot of people are asking, what do you want to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do right after you graduate? And some of you are saying the typical answers like, oh, I'm going to work with my friends, I'm going to work here and stuff. I already got a job lined up. And some of you are going, it's like, oh, well, I'm going to go through college. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to go to this school, study this, yada, yada, yada. And some of you are going through this part 3. What is going to be some of you are answering what is the part 3 of part 3 of life after high school, the do's and don'ts, and that is military. And just a quick thing, I'm a military veteran myself. I come from a military family, so I know a little bit of things or two about, you know, right after high school going to the military. So look forward to this part 3 for some of you guys joining the military right after, and hopefully you guys can take a little bit more knowledge from take a little bit of thinking compared to what I fucking did when I went through the military and stuff. So I'll holler at you guys later, and if you guys like this video, give me a like, comment, and subscribe, and look forward to the next video, part 3, which is called the military. Alright, which is going to be which we'll be talking about the military and going right into the military right after high school. So if you guys would, I'll holler at you guys on the next slide. Peace.